All right, everyone, welcome to today's call. This is Telman Knudsen, your co-host for the meditation event. Dada and I are tremendously excited to bring our guest on for today, Michelle Blood. We're going to be talking about meditation. We're going to be talking about mysticism. We're going to be talking about you and your connection to the spiritual world. You're absolutely going to love what Michelle has in store for you during our incredible interview here today. But while we're getting going, I want to make sure you're in the right place. What I'd like you to do right now is, first of all, close Facebook, close Twitter, close Google+, turn everything else off except for shut Skype off unless you're listening in on Skype. Call in on, look on the following webpage, www.themeditationevent.com/MICHELE. Themeditationevent.com/Michelle. Go there now if you're not already there for any reason whatsoever. As I said, we're very excited to get started here today. Again, this is Telman, your co-host. I'd like to introduce you to my other co-host, Dada Nabanilananda. Dada is a 35-year yoga monk. He is a meditator. He's a teacher of meditation. He is an author. He is a musician and an absolutely incredible guy, as well as a phenomenal co-host. Dada, it's great having you here on the call as always, and I'm very excited to bring Michelle on as well, so we'll be going into her bio here in just a moment, but Dada, over to you.
Hi folks, this is Dada Nabanilananda, and that doesn't mean I'm 35 years old. I wasn't actually born a monk, but I've been a monk for 35 years. And I want to just introduce you to Telman Knudsen of Norwegian origin. He's a Welsh hypnotist, and he was just trying to convince me that he could hypnotize me into having an American accent, but I'm not going for it. But he's a self-made internet millionaire entrepreneur, and he's a long-distance barefoot runner, which I'm always mightily impressed by, because he ran a good part of the way across America without shoes on, and he also runs a non-profit to raise money for homeless youth in America. And we came together because we're coming from different backgrounds. He's come from this Western hypnosis tradition, and I've been practicing an Eastern meditation tradition. But we're both really interested in consciousness and the mind. So we thought it would be really interesting to bring this show together with our different perspectives and all the perspective of all our guests on the meditation event, so that you could get a really unique set of insights into the spiritual path, the personal development process, and that'll enable you to fulfill your own potential and give as much as you're capable back to the world. So I think, Telman, would you like to introduce our guest, Michelle?
Absolutely. So guys, you should already be on Michelle's audience dashboard page at themeditationevent.com/Michelle, MICHELE. You're going to see a photo of Michelle Blood there, and there are a bunch of different things that you can do. First of all, type in your biggest question that you have for Michelle around the topic of meditation and mysticism. Go ahead and do that now. Also, you should know that Michelle has a phenomenal free gift she's going to be giving you just for being on the call. We're going to be going on more details a little bit later on in the call, so stand by. This is going to be a very exciting one, because Michelle Blood is a tremendously successful and multi-talented lady with an absolutely incredibly diverse business background in the business arena. In addition to creating the Musivation, did I pronounce that right, Michelle? Musivation?
Yes, you did, Telman.
Good products and seminars worldwide. She's also trained on the corporate side with major companies all around the world, including Nestle, Prudential, Shell Oil, Motorola, and Life Force International. Now, her public success events have been held in 16 separate countries, with her largest audience, get this, largest audience of 50,000 people in Kuala Lumpur. Now, she has co-authored a new book with the only Bob Proctor, titled Become a Magnet to Money Through the Sea of Unlimited Consciousness. Now, Brian Tracy, World Authority on Selling, says that Michelle has put together materials that bring about permanent behavior change. Michelle, welcome, welcome, welcome to the meditation event. It is so fantastic to have you here today.
Yes, it's wonderful to be here too. As soon as I was asked to be on an event that was about meditation, I was like, oh, how unusual. This is fantastic. Yes, hands up.
Great. So let's talk about meditation a little bit. Why is meditation so important to you? I mean, where did the wonderful wide world of meditation and your life meet?
Well, it met after I had a near-fatal car accident, and I actually, died and came back. And I had this deep longing for what I call God. I just had this, my heart was just open, and I just went on a search and studied with many different modalities, but still never met anyone who really knew God and knew really what meditation is, because most people just practice. They're not actually going into Samadhi all the time, but I'm sure Dada does. And so I met an enlightened teacher. Yeah, I met an enlightened teacher after many years I looked in 34 countries for a teacher. And I came to America, felt guided to come here, and met an enlightened teacher who's actually American, which blew my mind because it wasn't what I was expecting. And, just the room turned to gold. I was very blessed that she took me on as a student. And the Shakti, the divine energy, was so powerful I couldn't even walk home, to my car even. And from that moment on, I practiced, 10 years ago, I practiced meditation, just loved it. And it was really hard to start with, but then after a while, after a few years and many different trips and travels with her, my Kundalini awakened, and, ever since then, my life is just one of bliss, and you can see the truth of what what this world really, truly is. And she's a Buddhist monk, and she ordained me in Bhutan, which was, quite spectacular.
So, Michelle, you've used a couple of Sanskrit words there, which not all of our listeners may understand. So I'd like you to, and it's a great segue into explaining a bit more in depth your own experiences. Tell our listeners a bit about Samadhi and Kundalini. What do they mean?
Well, that could be a conversation for weeks, but just to say it as quickly as I can, all of us have been given this gift. Everyone has it at the base of their spine, this amazing universal energy. It's like the blood of the divine. It's this just power sitting at the base of the spine. And we have all these chakras along what's called a sushumna, which is along the base of the spine, like the ethereal spine. And when the Kundalini starts awakening, which can also be called Shakti, which is universal energy, straight from eternity itself, once that starts awakening, people literally, their God-given gifts and talents start awakening. It's power. You've got to have it with love as well, though. A lot of people don't understand that it's about love. But it's a very, very powerful experience. So the Kundalini comes up the spine as the chakras are opened, and eventually your head explodes, literally, with it. And it's just, you dissolve into the light. It's just quite amazing. I'd heard about it, but there's no way of really explaining it in words, but I'll do my best. And, of course, Shakti is the Kundalini. A lot of people call it by many different names, but it's this high divine vibration where you're in the oscillation of the divine, and it's what we're all here for, is to awaken to that. That's why we're here. Otherwise, we come back again and again to re-experience until we start burning away those old lines of attention to the past, not just this life, but past lives as well. And then it's really impossible to describe the joy that one has after that. You don't even remember who you were before. And it's what we're all here for. And I just think it's amazing that it's coming to the West now because of the fact that, well, Dada, he's a monk as well. And it's all about awakening. And you can be in the corporate world. You can do any sort of work that you want to do. I mean, light needs to be brought to the world in many, many different arenas. So Politically, I know one enlightened man who keeps to himself. He doesn't have students, and he works in the banking industry to bring light to that industry. He keeps himself completely anonymous. Not everyone who awakens ends up becoming a teacher. But how's that?
Delightful. So you didn't tell us about what Samadhi means.
Oh, Samadhi, okay. Well, there are many different forms of Samadhi. What happens in Samadhi is that's when, people practice meditation to stop their thoughts, to be able to, because God doesn't live in the past or the future. The divine only lives in the now. I mean, really in the moment, not even what you can think of as now. And so the whole idea of the practice of meditation, particularly if you're not more of a devoted type, but you just really want to stop your thoughts and feel better about yourself and your life and feel less stressed, is to stop your thoughts. And so what happens once your thoughts have stopped, and they've stopped for quite a few minutes, which is really an impossible feat, but the grace of God allows that to happen after a while. Well, there's many different experiences of Samadhi. I mean, the highest is Nirvikalpa Samadhi, which is where someone has literally reached eternity itself and they stay there. And like Sri Ramakrishna, a great avatar, the Buddha, of course. But there's other levels of Samadhi where you just can literally be drawn into the light. So it's an ecstasy beyond what anyone could ever imagine. If anyone knows what a human orgasm is like, if you want to sort of put that 1,000,000 times more, once you're really going into deep samadhis all the time, and your head explodes into this light, you dissolve into the light. So it's like when God, the universe, eternity, whatever you choose to call it, begins to meditate you. You're not practicing anymore. You go into these, small satori samadhis until you eventually go into the deeper ones, and and you're one with that.
All right. So these are, of course, the concepts I'm very familiar with and experiences I know something about from my own yoga background. But how universal is this? Because these concepts are, we're using Sanskrit, which is from the yoga tradition, but what happens when a Christian has this kind of experience? Is the same thing happening?
Of course, it's the same for every human being on the planet. Saint Teresa of Avila, one of my favorite saints before I even knew about yoga. I just absolutely adored her. I was brought up a Catholic, and I just had this deep devotion straight away to Jesus the Christ because he was the first enlightened master that I ever heard about, because I'm in the West, living in Australia. And I loved the nuns, and I wanted to become a nun, and my mother wouldn't let me because I just had this memory of God. And the nuns used to get me to sing. I ended up becoming a professional singer, which is quite funny. But the thing is, she would go into these high samadhis, and she did her best to explain it in especially her book Interior Castle, but without, that ecstasy you see on those paintings. That's like the light just, brings your head back. And so, St. Augustine, I guess St. John of the Cross, when he was talking about, how you go through a dark night of the soul before the samadhis start coming because your ego is being burnt away and it's very uncomfortable. So, you can read about many different saints from any of the religions, if it's a true enlightened master, or what the Christians call saints. Well, then, yes, of course you will hear about their experiences, maybe just a little bit different vernacular.
Right, and presumably the same goes for other traditions as well.
Yeah, but, it's all the same for everybody. Everybody has it. And when you begin to awaken bit by bit, you start seeing that light in everyone. You know that the eternal is there, but it's just blocked. It's like there's this bright, shiny diamond, this soul, glistening. And it's like all of the experiences that people have, it's like a block, a little bit more of ice builds up around, a little bit more of ice, and it's like there's this hook, this line of attention to that experience. So people continually experience the same scenarios, whether they like them or not. It might be a boyfriend named George and then one named Fred, or a boss that they don't like and then another one they don't like, because they've got these experiences that they keep, repeating over and over. I'll do my best just to put it in English vernacular rather than Sanskrit. And so what happens once the Kundalini starts rising, well then the those lines of attention, it's like that ice, if you want to look at it that way, starts melting, and so those hooks, those lines of attention to the past, just melt away. They're gone forever. So bit by bit that happens. It's like a slow unfolding, like a rose opening. It's, I hope that's a better explanation.
So you're saying that the different levels of samadhi or spiritual experience are kind of a natural unfolding of something that's innate.
Oh, absolutely. Beautifully put. You know, it's the same. Every single person on this planet worked hard to get here and have this human experience, you know, have this vehicle so that they could awaken. That's why we're here. That's the purpose. And once that starts happening, the God-given gifts and talents that people don't even know they have start awakening as well. And so they start enjoying their life more because they find, you know, I mean, I've met so many amazing people on this planet who've got so much high vibration, and they're not on that path consciously, like I know Richard Branson and a few other people that are just so bright and happy and gorgeous. And, you know, I've had in-depth conversation with him about it. And I said, look, you've just in your past life, you've had all of this light already. That's why you always want to fly the balloons. And I said, you're searching for that. And you've got all this power and you've got all this devotion and service to humanity. You know, people don't always consciously, they're not always aware of what they have within them.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I like that idea that, you know, that you don't have to be consciously doing this, you know, a spiritual practice to be a spiritual person or even to have spiritual experiences.
Look, sometimes I've met more spiritual people that aren't so-called spiritual practitioners than, because a lot of people that say they're spiritual practitioners they're not grounded and they get all over the place and they never have enough money to look after themselves and they're not quite together, whereas I've met so many successful people. I've met some that I don't like that have got power from past lives, but I've met many that are so beautiful and so shiny and bright. You can find them on Wall Street. You can find them anywhere.
Yeah, I want to refer back to something you said earlier. You made an important distinction between power and love. So Kundalini experiences or different spiritual experiences can, you know, you've described it very beautifully, but you said that some people think of it as the Kundalini as being a source of power and forget that the most important aspect of it is love. Can you expand on that a little?
Well, I think
what are the dangers in this? Because what I kind of want to explore is, you know, is this type of experience, is it necessarily going to make you a good person?
Well, if it's a true experience, it's not about being a person anymore, actually, because that ego that makes someone a personality has melted away. And there are people that, you know, I've read about as well, and I've actually met a couple, that think that they've become free because their Kundalini has awakened to a certain extent. And so because it's awakened to a certain extent, they've become more powerful with their thoughts. They think, oh, I'm a manifestor and I do it and I create. And, you know, and it's just that they're feeling that power, but they never go really right through the door to enlightenment because they start using what in Sanskrit are called siddha powers. So they start getting these siddha powers and they start feeling like, oh, I'm the manifestor and I'm the law of attraction person and blah, 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 when it's all God. There's only God. And so once, you know, because I did not ever have a goal to have my Kundalini awakened. I didn't know what it meant. I just loved my teacher and did what she told me to do because there was God there, love there, strength and power, but with love, such devotion to humanity and the beautiful service work she does. And this is what I was after, someone who was truly coming from that love, because in Sanskrit they call it, you know, if you're a bhakti, you're one who's a devotional type of person, which I was. So through the grace of God, when you're doing it for love, well then when the Kundalini awakens, you keep going. But it does not happen. It doesn't completely happen, the full awakening, if you're not doing it for love, because otherwise you'll have some of the Kundalini awaken, but you just start getting those God-given gifts and talents or powers, and you're not using it for anything but selfish reasons or egotistical reasons, like, look at me, I'm so good, look what I can do. And no one manifests anything. It's just that the light makes your thought more powerful. This is just a dream. The dream can be changed, sure. But nobody does anything. It's just God, eternity, that creates anything on the planet through your thoughts, sure. But it's up to you what you do with that.
So even if we've had some maybe remarkable spiritual experiences, we've still got to watch out for that old ego. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, absolutely. It's something that you've got to be very vigilant about, because the minute you hear someone say, I can do this, I do that, just put your blinker, just like, oh, better watch out for this person, because it's not an I who does it. It's not an individual. This, can someone make their heart beat? Do you have to wake up every, minute to make sure you're breathing? No. Who does that? Eternity through you. The Creator. So that's what we've always got to remember. It's not us that does anything. It's not us that can play a piano or sing or do anything. It's the divine through us.
Nicely put. I want to ask you something about the term enlightenment, because this is it's very it's kind of vague term, because it's used in English to represent actually quite a few different terms in Sanskrit, which is, in this field, Sanskrit is a very, very precise language. But when we're talking about this in English, we don't have the vocabulary to really be specific about what we mean. So what do you mean by enlightenment, and what are there levels of enlightenment? You've talked about levels of Samadhi. How do they relate?
Well, it's really impossible to explain.
That's a good start.
Because I'm only in early enlightenment, so, and what does that mean? That means my Kundalini exploded in my head. I've gone into Samadhi hundreds of times, and eventually I just melted away. But to go, to be able to be in Samadhi and in the world, like a deep Samadhi and in the world at the same time, that's true enlightenment. That's very impressive. And that's what is called like a Mahasiddha, like a person who can stay in Nirvikalpa Samadhi and still be in the world and function. Very, very impressive. Jesus Christ was a Mahasiddha. Of course, the Buddha, of course. It's just, until you've dissolved, it's your last carnation. It's your last time that you need to be here. And so, yes, there are different levels, but once one is enlightened, you can never go back. But you can go forward and go deeper and deeper and deeper. And it's important to still function in the world and do, to me, it's so important not just to sit in some cave, but to also function in the world and do things in the world that will help others to understand, particularly in the West. I think when it happens to a Western person, that's why I'm so grateful to my teacher, just a young woman too, because it's just something that the West needs, because the West has learnt how to make money and how to succeed, but they haven't learnt really about God and love. They've learnt about a God of fear, which is not the truth, a God of judgment, which is not the truth. Eternity, God, whatever one chooses to call it, is just pure love. There is no judgment. The only judgment there is with someone's state of mind. Where their state of mind is what happens. So I don't know if I answered your question.
Well, as you said, it's impossible to answer, but you went some distance. Not bad. Thank you. No, this is spiritual experience, and these sort of internal things are notoriously difficult to talk about, because we're talking about a different level of consciousness. So,
and
of course,
some
a lot of people resort
experiences,
to,
and some experiences, you literally will never mention, because they're between you and eternity. So some spiritual experiences, are very, if anyone wants to really read about someone's enlightenment process, who the Divine said they're allowed to, read Interior Castle by St. Teresa of Avila, or Swami Muktananda's book, Play of Consciousness. There's a few out there that, not many though, that actually talk about their actual experience, because usually the deeper experiences you're not allowed to share with anyone until the Divine says you can. Some you can, some you can't.
Yeah. Yogananda has a wonderful description of his first Samadhi experience in his autobiography also.
He does, but he still doesn't really speak about the actual experience of what he actually went through. I mean, he talks about some of the experiences, but there's some there that you can just feel.
He doesn't speak about his later. That was his early experience.
Yes,
but
exactly.
later things. You're right.
Yeah.
It's true. Interesting. Oh, that's delightful. Now, of course, our listeners. I mean, if I was listening to this, without my background, I would be thinking, this is really interesting. I want this. So, how do people learn about it? Well, I think it would be, we're going to ask you to lead us through an exercise in a little while, but I know you have a really cool teaching course on this. So, tell me, why don't you explain a bit about what Michelle has to offer as far as people taking the next step?
Well,
absolutely.
Yeah, well, it took me quite a few years after my experiences to be told by the divine that I could even do it, Had to have a talk to my teacher, and because it's, you're not always supposed to teach or give Shakti Pat, which is called Shakti Pat, but what it is a light transmission, because you actually intend for that light to go to someone. But I do it with prayer, because my background is prayer, so I do the light transmission and prayer. But I want people to know that they can do this themselves and have help along the way to have a light transmission. So it's only just very, very recently I put together what's called Advanced Mysticism course for those who really, really want to have something and know, I don't like to call secrets, but just things that are in plain sight that they didn't know about. How to. So it's a 6-week video course along with a webinar, and they get light transmissions as well. I get their photograph and I gaze their eyes until the photograph turns into light, and then I know for a fact it has reached them. I haven't been told to do it any other way at this stage yet. And each week they're given instructions on what to do that week. And so there are many, many different things that they're told to do, but what happens, because this lineage that I'm part of is coming through, people are just so amazed, because the things that they had attempted to do before, they would give up and not finish. But because the light's there, it's given them a higher vibration to do those particular tasks, no matter. And it's not hard. It's just that the ego doesn't like to do certain things that it knows is going to sort of like put it not in charge of the person. So I teach them meditation during it, of course, and different cleaning exercises to release things from their past life, from this life, from their past, that no longer, so they don't keep hooking themselves to past experiences. So there's many different things that they can do to assist them in that. And at the end of the 6 weeks, for those who want, I send them the DVDs with what I call a prayer card. And so it took quite a while, quite a few months to put this together, so that it was covering in a simple way so people could understand it, and everybody did. And each time people go through the videos, and at the end of each video there is a prayer and a light transmission as well. And so it's pretty comprehensive. But I've had some people that say, after 4 weeks they're still at video number 1 and still doing the tasks. And other people are at video number 5 before, at week 5, because they're, they can do it quickly. It just depends on how earnest someone is in wanting to change their vibration and get rid of the old muck.
So, Tillman, how do people actually have a look at that? Because we've got pictures of the, or more, page where people can look at that.
Absolutely. So, guys, if you joined us a little bit late, I want to make sure that you can get over to Michelle's special offer really easily right now. So go to www.themeditationevent.com/Michelle, MICHELE. So go ahead and go there now. Scroll down on that page, and as you scroll down, you'll see a big orange oval button. And the button says special offer on it in big black bold letters, really easy to see. Click on that, and you'll go straight to Michelle's special offer page. By the way, she has a phenomenal, phenomenal gift we're going to be telling you about here in just a second called The Practice of Meditation. It's a video for you. So Michelle, stand by for a second because I'd love to hear a little bit more about that. But while you're talking to folks about the video, right, when you guys check out the Advanced Mysticism package, you'll be able to see all the details, all the different components of the package right on that special offer page. So go ahead and check that out right now. And Michelle, could you go into a little bit of detail about this practice of meditation video that you're giving everybody just for being on the call?
Okay, well, it is actually a product that we sell, and it's really, really good for those who've never practiced meditation before, or for those who have been practicing it, but it's not, it's lost some of its joy. And they want to get back into, really practicing it in a slightly different way, the way I teach it. And, well, it's not because I just teach what my teacher taught me. Nothing is created by me, that's for sure. And so it really goes through the basics and, what the chakras are and about Kundalini, about, just different things that they can be doing to help themselves, how to set up a meditation area in their home, no matter how small or big their home is, and a few other instructions, and, of course, how to actually practice then the meditation, what to do if you're a beginner, what to do if you've been doing it for a while, but you want to, it's not working for you anymore and you really want to start again and really, get somewhere with your meditation. Because some people, they'll sit there and they'll practice their meditation and they just, can't block those thoughts anymore. The thoughts just take over, and so it helps them stop going down that rabbit hole of thoughts. So it's quite comprehensive, but at the same time, I'm a simple person. So everything I teach in a very simple way.
All right. Beautiful. Well, let's go back into the Advanced Mysticism course a little bit more because it sounds absolutely fantastic to me. So I know that the first big component to your offer is this Advanced Mysticism program. You got the 6 videos and the 6 light transmissions. Could you tell us just a little bit more about what a light transmission actually is?
Okay, that's also hard to explain, but I'll do my best. Once you have awakened to a certain extent, the divine literally comes through your consciousness. And so people have heard of praying for others. So it's like praying for someone, but actually sending them, it's like asking the divine, with that intention for them, speaking to their eternal. It helps, I know how to explain it. It helps them to connect to their divine. So, for example, that diamond, their soul, that divine within them is blocked by their ice, that ice. But then this Shakti, this transmission of light, connects them then to their divine. And so they have more energy and more vibration, and I do a prayer as well for the person's happiness and to help release things from their life that have been blocking them. And they actually get 2 extra ones. It's 6 plus 2 because I get a photograph from them. We ask for a photograph, and so I actually do 2 extras at the very, very beginning so that they have a lot more energy. It gives them energy. It gives them clarity. And these are the things that people need. People are either losing energy or gaining energy, and they're not sure how or what it is that helps them do that. That's another thing that I help explain in the Advanced Mysticism videos is, for them to really get clarity about where they're losing energy and how they can gain energy, because everything's energy. It's vibration, and the higher your oscillation or vibration is, the higher you are with the divine, and and like I say in the videos, the more power you have, but then when you have it with love and you can be of service to the world, that's the intention always to do these things is not for ourselves. It's for your family, even if it's just your own community or just your family, that's enough. To have that intention, because I believe everyone is a giver in their heart. I believe everyone truly is a giver, and I believe that people feel good when they know that they can be of assistance to their community or of service in some way to their family. And when they do that, their vibration does rise. So it gives you ideas on what you can do for your community and your family as well, because it's not just for you. Yes, it does help you have a better life, and yes, you because your power, your vibration is up, that you can achieve things faster and get things done that you couldn't do before. But when you do it with love, the things that you were thinking you wanted, you'll find that they will change. And you'll be much more in a loving vibration for the world, and not in a woo-woo, I'm so full of love, but in a very focused way of compassion that you can actually get something done, not just, I hear people say, oh, Michelle, I want $1 million. Why? Why? Tell me why. So I can help others. And I say, well, that's not why you want it. Because they just sort of think they're spiritual, and if they had a lot of money, they'd help the world, and they don't understand what it's all about when they come to me like that. So, yeah.
That's right. So, very interesting stuff. I know that you have another piece to the puzzle here called the Mystical Success Club, and you're doing these weekly webinars with that. Could you tell us a little bit more about that? I know people get a full month, which is 4 calls, access to the Mystical Success Club when they purchase your package today. So what all is the Mystical Success Club about?
Well, I started the Mystical Success Club in 2003, but then I stopped it for quite a few years and started it again when I was told by the Divine that I could. And what it is it's training for people. It's training for them on the mystical path. It's for people that want God, that want light. So each week we talk about lots and lots of different aspects of God and meditation and their life. It helps them be more successful in their life. That's why it's called the Mystical Success Club. And people have to apply to be a member, because I do not allow people that I feel are just wanting to come for the power because they get so much Shakti, so many light transmissions as a member. And so it's nice for people. They don't get full access to the club because we have videos and DVDs I send each month to the members, but they do get access to the webinars each week and get the light transmission as well from the webinar, which are live each week, for them to just have a taste of what it's like and then to see. And then if they want to apply to be a member, well, then they do. And people really don't believe me when I say I don't allow everyone to come, and then some people are afraid to to apply. And I say, look, I don't care. If you really feel within your heart, you will just take the risk and apply anyway. But it doesn't mean if someone's not approved that they're a bad person or they're just after power. It's just not the right path for them. So because of that, the members, we've got members from 23 countries. In actual fact, we've got more members that live internationally than we do even in America. So we find that the people are just so happy and really there for each other when someone's going through, a bit of a dark night of the soul, because the light does change the physiology. And, it's not all, everyone thinks that this path is all roses and just happiness, but you have to go through some of the stuff that the ego, those states of mind, because the ego does not like the light. It gets pissed off. And so, if someone says, oh, it's all easy, well, I just say they're just trying to sell you something that's not the truth. But if you really want transformation and you really want to go for it, it is a fast path, but it's a hard path, depending on the individual.
Got it. Wow, truer words have never been spoken. Very, very interesting stuff, right? And so in your program you have a third really fascinating component, right? And you have a special guest as part of this, of course. And that special guest is Bob Proctor. It's this goal-setting program, right? And so could you tell us about the third component of your offer here today, the turbocharged goal-setting program that you have put together?
Yeah, well, I met Bob, what was it? 1992. And we started working together around the world and doing a lot of things together. And we put together this program about action and about taking, positive action every day. And, he said, what do you do? And I said, I write my daily list and I set intention and we, because I'd had success in my life and obviously he had. And so we started writing quite a few programs together. I really loved Bob. He was the first person I met who I felt was really, really, and I'd worked with so many people, but I felt that he was really sincere and really just a high vibration person and a real lover of God too. And so I just loved Bob. And so we worked together, and it's his wife, actually, his wife Linda, who came up with the name Musivation for my positive music songs. So this goal setting Turbo, what happened was, by the time I was about into my third week of the video, I was like, wow, I've really got to help them set their goals and know how to do it in the correct way so that they can achieve it. I want them to achieve their goals, because if they're working hard towards something, they'll stop thinking about themselves so much and they'll have their mind focused, which helps with meditation practice. So I decided to gift them that product that we actually sell as a product. So it's the turbocharged goal setting and daily list planner, plus a wonderful audio that Bob and I did in Malaysia, actually, called Action. And it's really interesting because that's the first song that I ever wrote for Bob for one of his songs, for one of his tapes. And he ended up writing many songs with me after that, because he can do anything, really. It really helps people get organized in a very fun way.
Wow. Very cool. Very cool. Well, guys, you're going to get over 75% off with Michelle's amazing, amazing package here today. So you can go ahead and reread it if you want, or you can pick it up right now. In the upper right-hand corner of the screen, there's a button that says Add to Cart. It's orangey yellow. It says Add to Cart, upper right-hand area of the screen. Go ahead and click on that now. Fill up the form on the next page. Click Submit, and you will have instant access to all the downloadable components of this amazing, amazing program. You are absolutely going to love it. And we're going to be talking a little bit more about how you can get your hands on Michelle's free gift here in just a few minutes. But, Michelle, I have some additional questions for you that I'm really looking forward to hearing what you've got to say. And then we'll roll into a little kind of a micro, mini guided meditation experience if you're ready for that.
Yeah, and Dada, how are you doing?
I'm fine. I just don't want to, hog all the questions here. But if you can, one thing I just realized, we didn't even talk about your music and musician and your songwriting. So if you can find a little space for that somewhere a little further in after you've responded to Telman's.
That's going to be part of our meditation.
Oh, it is? Oh, perfect. Okay, great.
Gorgeous.
So in terms of meditation and mysticism and where these two worlds meet, right, what types of people have you found that are the most interested in using these types of techniques and integrating them into their lives?
Now, that's a fascinating question, and it's because the world thinks there's a particular type of person. Are they lawyers? Are they bankers? Are they nuns? And because of people's past life, it doesn't matter what a person does, because many times people do a certain job because they've been brought up to think that that's what they should do. So we have people from every walk of life all around the world. 40% are men, believe it or not. Usually people say it's more women. Yes, we do have more women. But we have homemakers, authors, very well-known musicians, doctors. We have one lawyer, computer scientists, experts, goodness me, actors, just people from bankers, people from every walk of life, because it's their soul type. They're doing a certain job, but that doesn't mean that's who they are. So they are interested in it because they feel a connection to that, because they've done it before, and they just don't remember. I think that's the best way to put it, don't you think, Dada?
Yep, definitely. My spiritual master in India used to say that somebody who's a musical, well, he used the example of musical genius, but any kind of exceptionally talented person in any field, in this life, it's an indication that they did a lot of hours in their previous life.
That's what I was telling Richard Branson.
Right, exactly.
Exactly. They just don't remember. Very, very good.
So Telman did a lot of running in his last life.
Right. Yeah. My business partner and very close friend, John and Dara, he runs 5 miles a day.
All right. Wow, it's very, very interesting stuff when you start thinking about past lives and how all that integrates in today. I'm really interested in your musical background as well. It sounds like we have a whole bunch of musicians on the phone here today. So could you tell us a little bit about how music integrates into your practice and what you do and teach?
Okay, I'll do that pretty quickly because I know we don't have many minutes left. So I sang professionally since I was 6. I was on television in Australia, in a TV show for kids in Canberra. I used to sing for the nuns and win all their estedvits, and it was just something that I could do. Since I was 2, my mother said I could just sing anything. I don't think I've got a great voice. I just love singing, and people seem to like to hear it. And I like to sing because I felt that people became happy when I did, so that's why I like to do it. And then eventually I had my, rock bands and pop bands in Australia, and we had, medium success, but we worked 6 nights a week, one stage for 7 years, all around the country, non-stop. But then I had a near-fatal car accident, and everything changed for me. I found this love for God, and so I only wanted songs that would, heal. I really wanted to sing songs for my healing because I knew that, that goes straight into your subconscious mind when you hear music, so it's just so powerful because it's that vibration. And so I started writing songs for my healing, which worked miraculously. I was on a show which is similar to like a 60 Minutes called Real Life at the time in Australia, and they did a whole write-up on my miraculous healing, and the doctors just had to say, yeah, it's like she's not supposed to walk again properly. She really isn't. And so it was quite fascinating. And then Bob Proctor heard about me and all these, Tony Robbins and all these different people, and they all wanted me to come and sing at their events. And the only one I liked, though, I have to say, was Bob Proctor. So I decided to work with him, and we just had a really good synergy, and he loved the music. He said, it just changes the whole vibration at the event when you're singing these positive songs and getting everyone to sing along with you. His wife came up with the name Musivation. Before I was calling it affirmation power songs. And some of them are like full songs with chorus, bridge, verses, and some of them are just, with pop music, just an affirmation that you go over and over again. It's really good when you're practicing meditation to listen to nice high music, and not necessarily always with voice, but sometimes with voice, so that you can block out 7 billion other people's thoughts. And so that's how it started.
Beautiful. All right. Well, I would love it if you could bring us through a little guided meditation, little experience of some of the work that you do. If now you could spend 5 or 10 minutes walking us through that. And of course, before you get started, I don't know the exact nature of what we're about to experience, but anyone who is driving, you either need to pull over on the side of the road or you need to listen to the call later, because if you need to close your eyes or completely relax, we want to make sure that you are safe in a safe location. So again, if you are doing anything that requires your attention and focus, where you can't just relax for a few minutes, then I need you to focus on pulling over on the side of the road, stopping to do that thing, or listen to this portion of the call a little bit later on, so that we can have your full attention right now, and that you and everyone around you are completely safe. With that said, Michelle, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, and I just got a quick question for Dada. Who was your master in India?
Ananda Murti. He founded Ananda Marga, the Path of Bliss.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, beautiful. Well, it is bliss. Every path leads to bliss. So, yes, and please, absolutely what Patelman said, do not drive. This Shakti, for some people, because they might be more open and receptive to it, really could make you dizzy. So, and if you do feel dizzy after this, what I would suggest you do is just have a couple of gummy bears or some orange juice, something with sugar in it, even if it's just natural sugar. Because some people are, because of past lives or because they meditate a lot, they get the Shakti very quickly. So all you've got to do is sit up straight. I'm just giving you instructions before you actually do it. Of course, sit up straight. Make sure your spine's straight and yet relaxed. Make sure your head is straight ahead, not down, not too up. You're going to take 3 deep breaths. Not yet. All of this you'll start in just a moment. And you're going to do it by taking a big deep breath in through your nose. Out through your mouth. I don't want to breathe too deep and too long for you guys into the phone right now, but just to give you an example. And so I'm going to play some music. And all you need to do is I want you to focus on the middle of your chest. The middle of your chest. If you've never meditated before, this is called the Heart Chakra. And if you want to know where your heart chakra is, you put your right arm out, and your middle finger, you just point to yourself and go, me, and that will tell you where your heart chakra is. And if you need to keep holding that point there, because everyone's heart chakra is in a different position, if you need to hold, just to feel it the entire time, but I just want you to, like a laser beam, just to totally focus on that heart chakra. And if any thoughts come up, just listen to the music. Just listen to the music. I'll be doing the rest, and you just take your 3 deep breaths in just a moment, and we're going to play this song, and I'm going to send you a light transmission, and you just do your best to stop your thoughts. If your thoughts are still going, maybe take another 3 deep breaths, and just listen to the music and let go. So, sit up straight now. We're going to begin. Take your 3 deep breaths. Just listen to the music, and here we go. Myself. I am one with the whole world. I am not just myself. I am one with the whole world. I am not just myself. I am one with the whole world. I am not just myself. I am one with the whole world. I am not just myself. I am one with the whole world. I am not just myself. I am one with the whole world. I am one with the whole world. Divine love lives in me, shining right through for all to see. Divine love gives to me inner peace and harmony. Divine love lives in me, shining right through for all to see. Divine love gives to me inner peace and harmony. I am not just myself. I am one with the whole world. I am not just myself. I am one with the whole world. I am not just myself. I am one with the whole world. One with the whole world. Because divine love lives in me, shining right through for all to see. Divine love gives to me inner peace and harmony. Divine love lives in me, shining right through for all to see. Divine love gives to me inner peace and harmony. Divine love. I'm one with the whole world. I am not just myself. I am one with the whole world. I am not just myself. I am one with the whole world. I am not just myself. I am one with the whole world. I am not just myself. I am one with the whole world. I am not just myself. I am one with the whole world. I am not just myself. I am one with the whole world. I am not just myself. I am one with the whole world. I am not just myself. I am one with the whole world. I am not just myself. I am one with the whole world. I am not just myself. I am one with the whole world. I am not just myself. I am one with the whole world. I am not just myself. I am one with the whole world. just myself. I want the whole world. I am not just myself. I want the whole world. And just listen for one moment. And I have done a silent prayer for you, because there isn't time for me to do it out loud for you all. But you have a good sleep tonight. Hello?
Hello. That was great.
Hi.
That was fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, and so when you can block out the rest of the world through a song or through, Mozart is wonderful to meditate to because he was such a high being. So, it's just wonderful to, certain of Beethoven is really good to meditate to. You put an iPhone, you put it on your iPod and put nice big head speakers, I find really help, and then you just block out the rest of the world. Really, really, truly helps. And, of course, if you can find a teacher who can send you the light, send you the Shakti. I searched the world, and I know nothing would have happened to me without an enlightened teacher. It's very rare to be able to really get on the path without a teacher. Don't you find, Dada?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know where I'd be without my spiritual master.
Yeah, I owe her my life. I truly do. Otherwise, life's not worth living. You realize that you were just living in a dream. Yeah.
That's right.
So we have, two things I want to tell our listeners. One is to just, especially if you came in late, just have a look at Michelle's special offer because she's got this really very attractive looking program on the Advanced Mysticism course. It's a 6-week course of videos and a webinar, and she's offering that at a super silly discount, which is I like when it.
It is super silly.
And,
I agree with you.
Yeah. And you can find that on. Let me just make sure that if you come in late, go to the meditation event. It's at www.themeditationevent.com/Michelle, MICHELE. And you look for the special offer button, and you click on that, and it takes you to this really beautiful package that Michelle's offering our listeners. And if you want to get that, which looks good to me, click on the Add to Cart button, and you can click the Submit Order button, and the rest is easy. And now we've got time for some listeners' questions. And there's quite a few. Definitely haven't got time to cover them all, unfortunately. But there's several that I like. I think I'm going to ask, I'm torn between two. Anyway, Telman will probably pick up one of the others. I like this very simple one. So Lucas de la Paz in San Francisco wants to know, how does meditation help me become a happier person when so many things in my life are not in my control?
Good question. Okay. The thing is, the more and more you practice your meditation and you start feeling that love of God, you realize that once you turn your will over to that light and you start focusing on what you do want for others, you won't feel like things are out of your control, because everything in this world you're being pushed towards because of your past karmas and all those lines of attention, so it feels like it's out of your control, when in actual fact it is and it isn't. So the best thing to do is have patience, have more focus in your life, so that you can really just let go. Let go. When something's happened that you may not have liked, just let go. Okay, that's gone now. I've just got to release it. And really focus on what it is that you can do with your life. And one of the things that we can do with our life is practice meditation, and that brings more happiness and light to wherever you go. It really does. you'll notice that people just feel better when they're around you, because when it doesn't take much to just get your oscillation, your vibration up just a little bit. And just that little bit is like huge compared to other people's oscillation, because most people are pretty sleepy. And so that makes a huge difference, and you won't even know who you were before, because you won't be there anymore. But just even doing it 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes at night, sunset and sunrise if you can, but if you're not that early bird, well, just at least get up a little earlier, and just, even if you just start doing that 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes at night, you will bring light wherever you go. It works pretty quickly, even after just a week of doing that. With meditation practice, it's consistency. It's focus, of course, to stop your thought, but it's consistency. And there you are.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I've noticed that. It's kind of like, it gives you a perspective. So the things that it's your response to the things that you feel are not in your control that affects whether you're happy about it or not, I think.
Absolutely, yeah. Are you reacting, or are you responding in a way that you don't, why me? Me. Is that the only note you can sing?
That's right. That's right. So this is a related question, but it is as it applies directly to relationships, right? And it's coming in from Isabeau in California, and she wants to know, how can my meditating help change the relationship between me and a negative person that lives with me to help them turn their negative to positive without me preaching to them? This negative person does have a very strong personality of self.
Okay, well, that's a very long answer, but put it this way. It sounds, I can feel that this is a partner, a romantic partner for sure, that this person's speaking about. And so whether it's a husband or wife or girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it is, you obviously, are on a path to meditation yourself, and you're not resonating with this person. And what happens when you start practicing meditation and start feeling more, you start feeling, you're not so blocked by, everyone's sort of in a coma most of the time, and you want to, everyone sort of say, I'm going to slip into something more comfortable like a coma tonight and watch TV. And so you start feeling other people more. And so when someone's at even just a slightly lower oscillation, which some people can call negative, but it's just all states of mind, well, then you don't like that. And because I'm on my path to enlightenment and I'm going to be doing this and that, and he should be better or she should be better. So the best thing to do, if you don't resonate with someone and you feel like you're preaching at them, stop and look at yourself. Because whenever we feel reactionary, that means that is a mirror of our own, what's still within ourselves. So we should never, ever judge someone. It's very challenging to do with romantic partners, because they're usually the first people that people judge. Who are they? As if you know them, and you don't. Trust me. So think, you just know their habits. You really don't know them. So you either make a decision that you're going to not be with this person because you don't resonate together anymore and it's bringing you down and you just can't handle it, or you let go of your judgment and do something nice for this person every day to bring them more happiness. It's not about you. Do something every day that's nice for this person. That's what we're here to do. Bring happiness to others by just be a little kinder to this person is what I suggest, or leave them.
I think that's really good advice. Thank you. So we've got
please.
No, but there's an option. There's another alternative. To serve you're there to serve your partner. I think that's something that's often forgotten. I like that. So this is an interesting question, especially because you've had. As you explained, you've had quite a lot of success in the traditional sense of success in your life. You've met people who've been very successful, like Richard Branson and so forth. So this question is kind of interesting. From, I hope I'm pronouncing the name right, it's Fotini Philippidou in London, in the UK. Do you believe that there exists no moral conflict between the development of spiritual consciousness in the, and the pursuit of material gain? Yeah.
Forgive me, I did not understand the first few words. Could you repeat that, please?
Sure, this is Dada, not Tillman.
Sorry, Dada.
My accent? Am I getting an American accent?
You are getting that American accent.
No, I'm just not.
No.
He sounds like me, so I'm not. I'm more in.
You think
I'm more in synergy with his tonality.
Okay, here's the question. Do you believe that there exists no moral conflict between the development of spiritual consciousness and the pursuit of material gain? If so, why?
I'm still missing those few words. Moral conflict between materiality and spirituality. Is that it?
Yeah, it seems that this person is asking if you feel that there's no problem developing spiritual consciousness at the same time, or in relation to material gain.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
That seems to be, it's around that. You know.
Okay. Now, I feel that, nobody should live in poverty. That is just ridiculous. We are God created, so it is not people's birthright, even though their karma might have created it, for them to be in poverty. Because if you're in poverty, you're unhappy, and that is not good for your consciousness. So it's very important that people stay focused and have success in their life to the extent where they know that they don't have to be stressed by money and, care about it, that sort of thing. My success, I had ups and downs all the time, but because I was in a position of singing, and that was extremely challenging to sort of career to be in, so I never did it for money, that's for sure, because the first few years were just totally hard, and we didn't have money, and we sometimes have to even borrow money from our road crew to get something to eat. We paid. So I believe it's important to do what you love to do and absolutely go for it, because then no matter what, you can handle the success and you can handle the challenges, because anything that we want to do on this particular world plane is challenging. We have to stay focused. And I believe staying focused and really, really focusing the mind, really zoning in, assists the meditation practice, because the mind must be focused and not all over the place. And you find people that don't work hard and aren't focused, they don't really live a diligent life, they find it hard to meditate. They really aren't good meditators because they're all over the place and they're not thinking about what they're doing. And also, of course there are people that are just money hungry. They just do stuff for money and they can never make enough money. I know a couple of people like that. They're just very selfish about it, and I don't like that at all, and they're usually not on the spiritual path at all. And they just have that past empowerment, and they're not really being of service to people, even though they're pseudo being of service to people, and they sort of make me want to vomit. But that's their business, not my business. But it's only when they pretend they're spiritual to people. But, that's other people's business. That's their karma. It's like we don't like war, and people say they're spiritual and there's wars going on. There's too much confusion between all of this stuff. And I feel that just staying focused and making as much money as you want, as long as you're not attached to the outcome, you're not attached to your money, or because nothing is our possession. And that's the main thing, is to use it as a spiritual practice so that you can stay focused and you're not stressed. You've got to be happy in this life, and to be happy you can't be poor. It's really hard. Of course you can be happy and poor, but it's not easy. I have met them in the world, of course, but it's not easy, particularly if you're from the West, because that's not our culture to live in poverty. It's just not, sort of doesn't, digest within our consciousness. So just don't be attached to what you do. And be successful. Why not? Have anything you want, as long as you don't care if you lose it tomorrow.
Nicely put.
That's the key. Very nice. Very nice. All right, well, guys, in order to get your free thank you video that we talked about a little bit earlier in the call, you need to be on the audience dashboard webpage. If you haven't seen that page yet, then go ahead and right now head on over to themeditationevent.com/Michelle, MICHELE, and to get that video, what I'd like you to do is scroll down and click on that big orange oval special offer button. That'll bring you straight to Michelle's special offer page. Once you get to that page, you're going to want to scroll down. You'll see all the different things that are packed into Michelle's special offer right there. Scroll down, and at the very bottom of that page, you're going to see a red box with red dotted lines. All you need to do is put your name in that box as well as your primary email address, and we will send you a link in a few minutes to where you can download that video. So you're going to want to go ahead and do that now. And if you joined the interview late for any reason, or if you want to share what you've listened to here today, what I want you to do is stay tuned. We're going to put up a free 48-hour replay here in a few minutes, but to share it with a friend, you're going to want to send them to themeditationevent.com/interview. Themeditationevent.com/interview. If you haven't picked up Michelle's special offer, do it now. 75% off this incredible, incredible program. The Advanced Mysticism course and all of the other things we talked about are all involved in the program. You can see all the details right there. You are going to love it. Go ahead and click on Add to Cart, fill out the form on the next page, and you will have instant access to the material. So you're going to love the program. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. Michelle, this has been a phenomenal, phenomenal interview. Thank you so much for being part of the meditation event.
Well, thank you very much, and it was lovely to meet you, Dada, after getting your vibe and reading your bio, and I was like, oh, fellow brother.
Well, likewise. I
Absolutely
love your enthusiasm around the the whole spiritual experience, because that's been my life. I'm actually coming down to LA in a few weeks. I'll write you an email. Maybe we can meet up or something.
I'm in San Diego.
Oh, you're in San Diego. That's not so far. I might get out. I've got some friends down there. I might visit also.
Love to meet up with you. That would be fabulous.
Cool. Well, I'll watch out for the email. I was going to send you some music you might like.
Oh, lovely. I'll do the same for you.
Okay, cool. It's been a pleasure, and I'm sure we'll speak again, maybe on a future show.
Fantastic, and thank you again, Telman. You guys are doing great work, and love your energy too, Telman. Very, very beautiful.
Thank you. All right, everybody, have a great day. Michelle, have a wonderful day, and Dada, we'll talk with you soon.
I love you all.
See you soon.
God bless you.
Bye, folks. Bye. God bless.